Hello and welcome. My name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and today we are going to jump right into alternate projects with the Sweeter With You July 2025 Paper Pumpkin Kit. There are a few things I want to say right at the start of this video. You'll see me kind of going through the box of the contents and everything, but let me just say this. We have a free shipping deal that is going to start tomorrow, Wednesday, July 23rd, and it's going to run through Friday, July 25th on orders over $75 before tax. And you can check out more information. If you're on my email list, I'll be sending information out on my email list. Here we go. These are the cards. We're going to be making very slight variations on these first, and then I'll have some fancier alternates towards the end. And I am continuing to go through the die cuts, which you can see are strawberries, and more strawberries. It is absolutely fabulous. This is a runaway favorite for 2025 in terms of kits for me. I absolutely love this. I could have made so many more projects with it. It is just so unfortunate, the time constraints, but we're still going to have a lot of fun with this kit, and I hope that you love the alternates. In the meantime, you're going to hear me talking a little bit, faster than normal because there's a lot going on in this video. There's a lot to share. And the other thing that I want to say just before we get into this, and I'm going to start by saying I'm cutting all of these card bases in half, or at least the ones that you see on the screen right now. And I'll get into how I turn those into alternates in just a moment. But if you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, if you are an active subscriber or a current subscriber, you can purchase refills, past kits, and add-ons. And the Sweeter With You refill is now available. What is the difference? A refill is all of the consumable pieces of the kit. So all of the paper pieces, the adhesives, things like that. What is not in the kit are the stamps or the ink spot. Okay, and this is the Circle of Seasons die set. There are 9 dies in this add-on. So this was specifically designed to go with the next 3 months worth of Paper Pumpkin kits, including some strawberry pieces in those dies that we're going to be kind of sort of working with. I'll show you what I mean about that. But here I'm just showing you the pieces that I've cut in half. We are going to make card bases. We're going to make 8 of them actually. So you're going to take a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock. So we're just going to score it at the 5 1/2 inch mark first, because I know both of these are actually going to be card bases. So score it at 5 1/2 inches and then cut it at 4 1/4 inches. And you're going to get 2 top fold card bases out of that. And I'm just going to cut ahead. We're making 8 of those. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to trim down the card bases that I just cut in half from the kit to 4 by 5 1/4 inches, every single one. So because we're sort of making a bulk set of cards here, I'm going to keep the measurements very similar. Now, my alternates are going to stay pretty close to the design of the kit, if I haven't already said that. Here's me. I'm going to trim one of these down. So as they measure right now, because they were card bases, they measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. We're going to trim them down to 4 by 5 1/4. And if you like these thin strips, you could certainly use those on other projects later. So you can set those aside, put them back in the box, however you want to do that, for additional alternates later. I will not be using those for alternates in this video, but I will be using them again soon. Okay, so funny story, when I originally unboxed my Paper Pumpkin kit, here are those dies again, and here's why I'm showing them. 9 dies is actually unusual. That's the most that they've ever done for a set of Paper Pumpkin dies. And I'm going to bring this a little bit closer to the screen. Do you see how that die, or both of them, perfectly fit the stamps from this month's kit? So they will perfectly cut out the stamped images for the top of the strawberry and also the strawberry itself. But if for whatever reason you missed out on the kit and you purchased the refill and you don't have the stamp set, it's still okay, because this set of dies, you can fully cut out a strawberry without the stamp. You can fully cut out a topper for the strawberry without a stamp. So interchangeable. Those Circle of Season dies, which are considered an add-on, it's a separate purchase in the online store, but it is something that only Paper Pumpkin subscribers can purchase. It is available right now, and I do recommend getting this one because I think a lot of people are going to be very interested in this particular set of dies because they're so useful and interchangeable between this kit and then the upcoming kits that we have coming up as well, August and September. So after we have all of our card bases cut, after we have our layers trimmed down to 4 by 5¼ inches, we are going to start putting our card layouts together. And I am actually going to be following the Paper Pumpkin instructions for this, but I am going to make some slight variations, and I'll point out where. For those of you who want to stick with me through the whole video, I will be doing a little bit of a deeper dive in this same video, doing some background stamping. We're going to be making sort of fancier cards. So the way that Stampin' Up! Describes it is they'll say that there's like the beginner card makers, which is where we're at right now in terms of the Paper Pumpkin design cards. They make them very simple, particularly for new card makers and for new stampers. And you can go all the way up to something that they call Avid or Artfully Avid for the people who have full-blown craft rooms. They've been doing this for a while. They have tools. They have all of the fun stuff. And I'm going to be incorporating a bundle called Round We Go. Oh, these are the coordinating colors, by the way. And we really are going to be diving into coordinating colors for this particular kit. I will say to you guys, I could kick myself for not having Strawberry Slush yet. I don't have any of the Strawberry Slush products yet in my collection. That's part of the 2025-2027 in color products, and it's one of the coordinating colors of this kit, but I did make it through with Pretty in Pink and Bubble Bath, and I do have Timid Tiger, which is also a coordinating color from this kit. And it's beautiful. You can see the pops of the Timid Tiger right there on that gingham pattern right there. Really, really beautiful. So the color combinations in this kit, the imagery and how vivid and bright and bold it is, the artwork is absolutely stunning in my opinion. I know there seem to be, two schools of thought. People who absolutely love the summer kits, they love the fruit themes, the gingham and all of that. And then some who kind of want to move on from the fruit theme. This is one of my favorite kits of the year. So I'm definitely team fruit summer cards. I love it. I actually plan on getting the refill along with my Strawberry Slush products when we have our free shipping offer coming up in the next 2 days. Don't forget about that. That is going to be such a great deal. And I will be reminding people on my email as well. Now, one opinion that I do have about this kit, I personally feel, and it's very rare of Paper Pumpkin to do it, I personally feel that this should have had 2 ink spots. This was a kit that definitely needed a red and a green in terms of ink for the kit. So the first thing I am going to recommend that you do, if you have it in your collection or if you have more ink spots from having past Paper Pumpkin kits, get either a red or a pink ink to go along with the garden green ink that comes in the kit so that you can stamp in either red and green, pink and green, or if you feel so inclined, pink, red, and green in whatever combination of colors you want to. My Poppy Parade full-size ink pad is struggling. I actually need to replace it. So at some point in this video, I do grab my ink spot for Poppy Parade, but I kind of used real red throughout a lot of the projects on this particular video. So as you can see, all I'm doing here is starting to stamp and assemble pieces for my cards. And again, I am sort of following that Paper Pumpkin layout right now. And fun fact, I almost completely forgot this vellum piece. So don't do that because it really makes the card. One thing I will say is be very, very careful pulling out those pieces. I actually laid this down on the vellum first to get the placement so that I could hide the adhesive behind the leaves. The adhesive is very persnickety, or it's very tricky. When you're putting it on vellum, you can kind of see right through to the adhesive if you don't place it carefully. So just a word to the wise there. But I am using my adhesive dots, the adhesive glue dots that they include in the kits. I love them. This is another one of those things where people really have definite opinions about it. I have people who literally send me their adhesive dots because they don't use them in their kits, but that's just funny because I use mine all the time. I use everything from these kits, to be completely honest with you, and I almost never have to buy dimensionals because I always have kits coming and there's always dimensionals in my kits. But you can see that I stamped Hello Friend in real red. If you have Poppy Parade, feel free to use that. And I am using the Garden Green ink spot that came in this kit throughout the assembly process of making these cards. So here I just needed to tuck a little extra glue dot. Now I will say in this particular kit, it was regular size Stampin' Dimensionals, but I did bring in some of my own adhesives as well. Like you'll see my Stampin' Seal, my Stampin' Seal Plus, you'll see my mini Stampin' Dimensionals because I keep all those on hand. Okay, and then just to shout out the gems that I brought in to add to these kits, they are called the Iridescent Faceted Gems, and that is item number 163368. They add such a nice amount of sparkle to the card. Absolutely loved. I love them so much. I actually used them on every alternate that I did with this kit. So here you can see, I just jumped ahead. I didn't want you to have to make, to see me make both of these, but you can see these are the finished versions, very close to the paper pumpkin design, just adding in those gems. I dropped the sentiments down to that bottom right hand corner, and then I also added in some additional ink color for that particular alternate. Now we are moving on to the second. So the way that this paper pumpkin kit was designed, it was designed to make 8 cards, 4 designs, 2 of each design. So that's why we're going to see 4 different card layouts from Paper Pumpkin, and then I'll be sort of tweaking them a little bit. And then, of course, towards the end, I definitely really start diving in and doing my own thing. I will say that this kit was so absolutely generous when it came to the die cuts. I did end up going through every single one of those little flowers, but don't worry if you have the Circle of Seasons dies. You can actually cut out the flower. You can cut out the little white flower as many as you need. You can cut out the strawberries as many as you need, and you'll be good to go. So long after your consumable pieces are gone, your dies will keep the kit going, particularly with your stamp set if you have it. But it's not it's not a must. You can cut those pieces from the dies as well. Now here I am taking a card base, one of the extra card bases that I have, and I'm cutting 1-inch strips. So they are 1 inch by 5.5 inches. This is where I am deviating a little bit with my alternate design. So that is the polka dot design, or the dotted pattern, I would say, pink and red. And I am running that strip down the center of this card. I'm going to run it down the center of each card. So in terms of the way that they're positioning the center part of this, I am keeping that the same. So the main change for this particular alternate is just cutting essentially turning that card base in designer series paper, cutting it to 1 inch by 5.5 inches, running it down the center of the card, and then going about, adding the rest of the pieces of the card here. So again, I'm going to be stamping my greetings in 2 colors, or stamping my sentiments in 2 colors. So this will be a combination of real red and garden green from the kit again. One of them will say thank you. One of them will say, I believe it's life is sweeter with you. Is that not like the cutest, absolute fabulous thing? And you can see part of the design from the Paper Pumpkin team for this month's kit is a scalloped edge. So you can see that those die cuts from the kit are scalloped. And so that was one of the ideas. A lot of times the coordinating die sets that I will use are die sets that I feel match the original themes and designs that the Paper Pumpkin team created. So that's one of the reasons why I gravitated towards the Round We Go bundle, which you're going to see later in the video, because the Round We Go bundle has scalloped edges as well as some different pattern edges, but the scalloped is part of that. And whatever dies that you have, whether they're circles, scalloped, it's going to go great. Okay. So for this next one, this particular card layout is switched. I did not realize when I was looking at the instructions on the Paper Pumpkin kit that the layout was supposed to be landscape or horizontal. So when I was doing top fold cards, I was like, oh, this is supposed to be this is supposed to be the other way. But I was already committed. I wasn't recutting. I'm incredibly pressed for time throughout the summer, which is one of the reasons why kits are literally keeping me going creatively. So here what I'm doing is I'm taking one of those extra garden green card bases from the kit, and I am cutting it down to a layer. I believe I ended up cutting this to, I can actually give you the measurement on it. Let me grab it really quick. I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. Oh gosh. Be prepared. Okay. It's okay. All right, so that garden green layer ends up being 2 5/8 by 5 1/4. Okay, so 2 5/8 inch by 5 1/4 is the garden green layer cut from the card base in the kit. And that was just to try to tie in that coordinating color, really help the scalloped edges of the layer to stand out. One of the things, because a lot of these designs, I love a gingham design, but it can be considered a busy design. Same with the strawberry background. So it's just one of those things where I like sort of a solid color to kind of break that up a little bit. And that's what we're doing there. So it's the same design, but it's actually gone from landscape to portrait, or from horizontal to a vertical layout. And I'll tell you the truth, I actually love it in the vertical layout. You guys can let me know in the comments what your opinion is on that. How cute is this little strawberry carton? We go and we pick fruit. We do like blueberries and stuff at a local farm nearby that we love. And they always have these cute little cartons and things. But my son is actually allergic to strawberries, so we cannot go strawberry picking. We don't do that. So we usually start with blueberry season. We actually just went and picked blueberries. But I can tell you, he loved this kit. He was very attracted to the imagery and the colors and the pieces of this kit. He kept taking them off of my desk as quickly as I was putting them down. Okay, so here we're just going to jump right into the last of the Paper Pumpkin design cards. I am still stamping in real red ink right onto these large, soft pink strawberries. They're so great. I love these. I actually ended up using one of these on the alternates as well. Now, this actually was recommended by Paper Pumpkin, where they said to put these 2 little flowers, the little strawberry flowers, together on the same block and stamp them, you know, at the same time. So it's just a little pattern that they were created. I actually sort of followed the directions in terms of the placement of them. Just stamp it 4 times, and I stamped it garden green on garden green, so tone on tone. Just putting these down on my white card bases. Gonna try to, you know, put my layout together. Now, I am not a big fan of doing layers askew, okay? And again, you can let me know what your opinion is on that. The way that it is on, you can see it right in the instructions right above the card. They're sort of askew, and I couldn't do it. So my alternates are a little bit straighter. I just pulled them. The top one is, you know, more to the left edge, and the bottom one is more to the right edge. And I have them slightly overlapping the same way that Paper Pumpkin does, but I just needed it to be straighter. So, I mean, it is laughable. I don't know why I can't do it, but there are just certain things that I feel like it's just a bridge too far. In terms of all of the strawberry placement and things, I am pretty much keeping it the same. Same thing with my little strawberry flower die cut pieces. And yes, I am going to add in gems. So this one was kept incredibly close to the design, with the exception of switching out the garden green ink for the red for my thank you sentiment. Now, I did need a birthday card, so I did do that with an alternate. I considered using the Round We Go stamp set Happiest Birthday on this, but I decided instead to leave these two, the original, and then you'll see my alternate here coming up towards the end of this video. So that covers the slight changes that I made to the Paper Pumpkin design cards. So those were 8 cards that we just made, and I am going to sort of lay them down together. I used 2 different greetings for this particular card, and you can see on the one on the carton, I actually stamped Love You Lots. If you would want to use the little die cut piece that came in the kit, that would fit there really cute as well, but I loved having the additional stamp on the carton. Again, I did both greetings here. I definitely like to maximize the use of the stamp sets with Paper Pumpkin if I can, particularly if I can show that to you in videos. And that was definitely a goal for me this month. So here, these are the 8 cards that we just made. And then we're going to take the rest of the pieces that we have left, and we're going to create some additional, slightly fancier alternate card ideas for you. Now, for some of you, I know that postage and mailing is a factor. So just know I am making rosettes, and that would definitely be a factor for postage and for fitting in envelopes and things like that. But those you can get into the mail just fine. So we're going to step it up with this one, and we're going to go a little bit fancier now. Okay. Okay, so this is the rosette die. You need 2 of these to make a complete rosette, and you can see I am playing with the placement and the layout. I am trying to figure out how I wanted to do this. This is the one piece where the placement matters because of the direction that the strawberries are going. So I wanted this to be a horizontal layout in terms of this rosette. I didn't want to place that vertically. The trouble with that was that the length of the die actually overlapped with the score line for the pre-made card. So what I did was I took it right to the edge. I mean, you guys can see it's like within a hair. And that was because if I placed it there, it overlapped perfectly with the scored card baseline. And I know that that's being like very particular, but it's just the truth. So I'm just letting you know. It'll certainly help you with your placement as you're cutting them. I cut 3 of these because I actually do like the half rosettes as well, like sort of that fan look, but I'm going to save the 3rd piece for another card. We're going to do a complete rosette for this particular strawberry pattern, but we're actually going to do this you know, with all 3 patterns, or at least 3 of the patterns of the card, not 4. So we're going to make those in the red and pink, this one here, and then we're also going to make it in the gingham pattern as well. For what I had left over from the garden green card base, I am turning these into the strawberry toppers. And all I'm doing here is showing you that you can actually cut both of these at the same time, or you can cut them separately. That teeny tiny die right there, that cuts into paper. That outline die that I just laid down, that cuts out. So that's why if you lay those two together, you're going to get that detail design from the one that cuts in, and you're going to get the whole piece cut out by cutting the outline as well. So it fits perfectly together. You can cut them both at the same time. That's the way that I recommend doing it, especially if you like, to have the most detail. And I liked the pattern of the card base, quite frankly. It wasn't just flat. It had like almost a little bit looked like faded paint type of situation there. So almost like brushed, if you will. And it was not all over the whole card base, but some of it definitely added to the texture. So that's why I cut so many out of this particular piece. But just so that you can see how I'm utilizing the pieces from my kit. The one that I didn't cut, I actually went back and added in that detail because I just knew I wanted them all to look uniform. Now, that said, I actually did not end up using those in this video. So I want you to know I'm showing you how to use these dies, but in the end, I actually had enough die cut pieces to go without. Now, I'm not going to cut all of these out on screen. I just wanted you to see what I was doing. We're going to cut 2 of these in each card pattern. All right, here's another thing that I like to do in a lot of my alternate videos, or when I am sitting down to make alternate card ideas from any kit. I will often take cardstock in the coordinating colors, white, green, red, whatever it is. And I will take the dies that I have that I want to use with that. I don't necessarily know if I'm going to use all the pieces, but I want to have options. So what you're seeing right there is a combination of the Circle of Seasons dies. Those are the add-on dies that match this kit. And then also you're seeing several dies from the Round We Go dies. Now, let me take a moment while and learn from my mistakes and tape your little die cut pieces down so that you don't end up having to reposition everything like I do all the time. I'm constantly moving my craft room around right now, so I don't have everything with me all the time, but oh my gosh. I just need to tape a reminder to my forehead to have the die cut tape. Regardless, I like to have the pieces even if I'm not using them all. And one thing that I do want to shout out about the Round We Go bundle, the Round We Go stamp set, and the Round We Go dies is that they are on the last chance list. That means they are while supplies last. And the stamps and the dies are actually marked down in price. So if this was a set that you didn't pick up and you really wanted it, consider it during the free shipping offer because this is a fabulous set to work with. You have so many interchangeable pieces and options if that is something that you like. And it's very vivid in terms of its design, very similar to this kit. I feel like they go really well together. They really pair well together. I didn't end up using nearly the amount of pieces that I cut for this video, but when I was doing my layouts, I had all the pieces that I needed to play around with my layouts, and it even gave me ideas for more cards that I don't want to make until I order the refill. And also until I get my strawberry slush color. But this might be the only alternate video I have for this. So this is something that I did want to show you. Okay, so it's rosette time. This is the Mountain Valley fold where you're up, you're down, you're up, you're down. And it's pretty self-explanatory, right? I am going to bring in my glue gun for this. You can use a stronger adhesive if you want. You can use adhesive from the kit if you want. But honestly, I just recommend hot glue for this. I feel like it needs a really strong adhesive. Now, all those little pieces that I cut are now in this this little temporary container as I switch pieces in and out and just sort of play with the design here. And what I didn't realize was that my glue gun would not stay in the outlet. So I have to figure out what's going on with my outlet there, but it was cold. So it really wasn't hot enough to produce the glue. So I did I did have a minor mishap with this, and then of course we do fix the situation as soon as I figured out what the problem was. So it happens to us all. But I love these little circle pieces from the Round We Go dies because they help to secure it. I put one on the front and on the back. I don't want you to focus too much on which dots and which colors I used in the centers because honestly, they were just placeholders. If you want to leave them like that, that's great. You'll see my final designs as we get to the cards in the end here. But for this part here, these were the placeholders, and this was, I just couldn't figure out why this, typically it's very easy to make a rosette, so I couldn't figure out what the problem was, and here it was the glue, and I could have cut that out, but honestly, I mean, these are the these are the things that happen to crafters, and you're like, what is going on, why is this not working for me? But how beautiful are these? So this is just a perfect example of using card bases as designer series paper. This is one of a lot of demonstrators' favorite things to do with paper pumpkin kits or with the kit collection kits. And can I please just say how fabulous these kits have been lately? And if I haven't said it already, how amazing they are if you are stuck in a crafting rut, if you don't have a lot of time, if you are new, right? Because you can just make the kits exactly as they are. And then if you do have time to play, or if you cut a lot of your die cuts out in advance and then you have a lot of pieces and you can just sort of play just like this, it's so nice. So this is part of my design process. This is one of the things that I do when I'm starting to design. I basically cut in white, pink, red, and green. Those were the four colors that I really stuck true to throughout this alternates process. I did have, whatchamacallit, I had Pool Party sitting right next to me the entire time. I was going to pull in more Pool Party because it's, the background here on this particular piece, but I ended up not using it. I'm going to go ahead and cut to the finished rosette on this one so that we can see what this looks like. Okay, here they are. Aren't they cute? Oh my gosh, I absolutely love how these rosettes turned out. You can use these however you want. They could be, for home decor. Do that next part. I am going to take some 4 by 5¼ inch piece, basic white cardstock pieces, and I'm going to do some background stamping. So and here comes my son, you guys. So he's playing with my lanyard here. I had a lanyard from when I volunteered for an event that I did with the Autism Caring Center, and he was playing with that, but he was absolutely obsessed with the rosettes, obsessed with the rosettes. He just kept coming over, tapping them. You'll see one of them disappearing from the table. It was so funny. He also left me a comb and a couple of crumbs in case you guys haven't noticed. It takes me a minute to realize what he left me behind. My son is autistic, for you guys that don't know, and a lot of times they leave us presents. I often find things on my table, or he'll leave me something and he'll take something. So it is definitely an experience, no doubt. Okay, so for this background pattern, just really quickly, I am stamping Poppy Parade. I went and got one of my ink spots. So this is going to be a combination of Poppy Parade and Garden Green from the kit. So I'm using the stamps from the Paper Pumpkin kit for this. I considered bringing in the flowers as well to make as part of this background. And in the end, I decided not to use them. I decided to just go with the strawberry and with the topper for the strawberry. I stamped this in Poppy Parade and Garden Green, and then later you'll see on completed cards that I also did this in pink. So I did this in Pretty in Pink and Garden Green as well, but I don't actually have that on the video. I didn't feel like it was necessary, but I at least wanted you to see this in terms of the way that I did this for the background pattern. Now you'll see that I am bringing in a piece of scrap paper that has all kinds of strawberries in different colors stamped all over it. And that is because when you have a solid stamp like this, it takes it takes some time to warm it up, in my opinion. There are different tips and tricks that you can use for this, but if your ink pads, the full size ink pads, if they are very juicy, you're going to have a problem. It could be like a very muddy image. So that's why I like the ink spots for this. But you could also just take your bone folder or something and smooth out the ink and get some of the extra juice off of there. And then your images should stamp just absolutely perfectly. Okay, so I just listened to the last part of my recording and I heard the train sounds in the background. I'm so sorry. Okay, so here you can see two of the finished rosette cards. I love how the Hello Friend die cut from the kit just perfectly measured across the length and the width of the rosette there. It was just a perfect fit. So same background, same card layout, just slight variations there where I am using the Timid Tiger for the card base with the gingham pattern rosette. And then here for our last one, we're going to put this one together. I didn't actually intend to cut making the one with the gingham pattern rosette, but I must not have filmed that section. I can't find that video footage, so it's just as well because it is the same layout. So there you can get a much better look at the pink version of our pattern paper that we stamped with the stamps from the Paper Pumpkin kit. This is absolutely one of my favorite things to do with Paper Pumpkin stamps. Make sure that you use as much of the stamps as you can. Really have fun with it. So here we're just doing the 4 by 5¼ inch is what we're doing for the pink pattern strawberries. Again, that ink was Pretty in Pink that I used. Now, the idea for this came about because I did not have time to go back and stamp a background of red and pink strawberries. I really wanted to stamp that. And I didn't have time to make another one. So I thought, what if I just took my leftover die cut strawberries and just overlaid them over some of the pink ones that I had already stamped? And it basically was like a placeholder almost. So it turned out really cute. I love the way that it looks. So it's just random, right? Like I only have them in spots where you can kind of see them standing out. You can see me doing the interchangeable sort of puzzle piece matching. Now I need a birthday card. It's actually Connor's aunt's birthday today, and I told her the card was going to be a little bit late because I wanted to send one of these. So I wanted to have a pretty rosette. So this is actually from the Round We Go stamp set. This is the only stamp I think that I use that is from a different stamp set. So this says happiest birthday. I really like the font. I like the size of it for this circle. That white circle is from the Circle of Seasons dies. And I am actually matching it to the Garden Green scalloped circle from the Round We Go dies. So you can see how interchangeable this is. I'm taking these die cuts from the Paper Pumpkin kit and I'm literally just overlaying them and just mixing them in. So it's a combination of red and pink. So a combination of stamped and a combination of the pre-printed die cuts, which is really cool. I did decide to adhere my rosettes to the cards with hot glue. You don't have to at that point, but it's a pretty weighty piece. It has a lot of dimension to it. So I like to give it a little extra security if I can. It is very rare for me to bring in a hot glue gun for a Paper Pumpkin alternate video. So I hope that you guys will run with me or go with me on that. But here I decided to surround a couple more die cut strawberries with the happiest birthday to kind of frame it in. And now I'm bringing in these iridescent faceted gems to finish off this card. That is a garden green card base, by the way. And then that is how it turned out. I mean, how cute are these cards? I absolutely love these alternate cards. So let's wrap it up, okay? The first thing that I want to say is if you are not already a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, I would love to have you subscribe with me. You can learn more in the description box below if you haven't already. Give me a shout of what your favorite alternate card was if you're still here in the video with me. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. This is a longer video, but there was a lot to do in this video. So I hope that you understand. I couldn't love this kit anymore. Between the Halloween kit that I just worked with and this one, I mean, they are just really knocking it out of the park. But here we go. So I'm going to bring in all of the cards now so that you guys can decide. What do you think? The gingham rosette, the pink rosette, or the pool party strawberry rosette, the Hello Friend card? Which one do you like the best? I really can't decide, honestly. I love them all. I'm also going to bring in the other 8 cards that we made that is really more of an homage to the Paper Pumpkin kit, truly. I loved their designs this month. They're doing such a fabulous job. But you can let me know what your favorite of these 4 designs are too. I think it's this one for me, this third one with the gingham pattern. I think that's my favorite. All right, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button, like, comment, or share. That really helps the video, and I'll see you in the next one.